Hello there, and welcome to the Sleepy Nature channel. Take a breath, a slow one. Let your shoulders drop just a little and allow yourself to settle into this moment. Tonight, we're going to walk together through one of nature's gentlest transformations. The way leaves change their colors as the year grows older. There's no rush here, no urgency, just you and the quiet story of trees preparing for rest. You've seen it, haven't you? That first hint of gold appearing at the edge of a green leaf. The way a whole hillside seems to catch fire with amber and crimson, all without a single spark. It feels like magic, but it's something even softer than that. It's the earth breathing in rhythm with the seasons, showing you that change can be beautiful, peaceful, and exactly as it should be. So, let yourself relax. We're going to move slowly through this story, one leaf at a time, one color at a time. And by the end, you'll understand not just how it happens, but how it feels, like the world is wrapping itself in a warm blanket before winter's long sleep. Inside every green leaf, there's a tiny factory working all summer long. It's called a chloroplast, but you don't need to remember that name. Just imagine thousands of small rooms inside each leaf, all filled with green. That green has a name too, chlorophyll, and it's what makes leaves look the way they do when summer is full and bright. Chlorophyll loves sunlight. It drinks it in, uses it to turn air and water into food for the tree. All through the warm months, these little green rooms are busy, humming with quiet work. The tree is fed, the leaf stays green, and everything feels endless the way summer always does. But chlorophyll is fragile. It breaks down easily, worn away by light and time, so the leaf has to keep making more, over and over, replacing what's lost. As long as the days are long and the sun is strong, the leaf can keep up. The green stays bright. The world stays lush. Then, slowly, the days begin to shorten. You might not notice it at first, a minute here, a minute there. But the trees notice. They feel the sun slipping away a little earlier each evening. The light becomes softer, the air a bit cooler, and deep inside the leaf, something shifts. The tree begins to prepare. It starts to close tiny doorways at the base of each leaf where the stem meets the branch. These doorways are how water and nutrients flow in and out. But now, bit by bit, the tree seals them. It's not abandonment, it's protection. The tree is getting ready to survive the cold months ahead, and it can't afford to lose water through its leaves when the ground is frozen. As those doorways close, the leaf can no longer make new chlorophyll. The green that was always being replaced suddenly isn't. And without new green being made, the old green starts to fade. It breaks down in the light, just as it always did. But now there's nothing to take its place. And here's where the magic you've been waiting for begins. Beneath the green, there were always other colors hiding. They were there all along, all summer, but the green was so strong, so vibrant, that it covered them completely. Now, as the green fades, those hidden colors start to glow through. One of those colors is yellow. It comes from something called xanthophyll, tucked quietly inside the leaf beside the chlorophyll. Xanthophyll is patient. It doesn't mind being hidden. It's been there since spring, waiting for its moment. And when the green begins to fade, the yellow emerges, soft, gentle, like morning light coming through a curtain. Another hidden color is orange. It comes from carotene, the same thing that makes carrots bright. Carotene was always there too, a warm undertone beneath the summer's green. Now it steps forward, glowing like embers in a gentle fire, filling the tree with warmth, even as the air grows cool. Some trees turn yellow, some turn orange. It depends on what they've been holding inside all this time. A birch tree glows soft gold. A poplar shimmers like coins catching the light. An aspen turns the hillside into a field of butter and honey. There's something deeply peaceful about yellow and orange leaves. They don't shout. They don't demand. They simply are, glowing quietly in the slanted autumn light, as if the tree is sharing a secret it's kept all year long. But then there are the reds. The reds are different. They aren't hidden colors that were always there. They're made fresh, right now, in the autumn, in response to the season's change. The tree creates them on purpose, and scientists are still learning exactly why. When sunlight hits a leaf that's already starting to shut down, and the sugars trapped inside can't leave because those doorways are closing, something happens. The leaf begins to produce a pigment called anthocyanin. This pigment absorbs the light, protects the leaf for just a little longer, and paints it red. Some trees make a lot of anthocyanin. Maples, especially, turn brilliant crimson and scarlet. Dogwoods blush deep wine. Oak leaves sometimes go russet and burgundy, like old leather warmed by a fire. The reds are bold, but they're not harsh. They're rich and deep, like the color of a sunset that lasts for weeks. The amount of red a tree makes depends on the weather. Cool nights help. When the temperature drops but doesn't freeze and the days are still bright, the conditions are perfect. The sugars stay in the leaf, the sun keeps shining, and the red deepens day by day. That's why some autumns are more colorful than others. A warm, cloudy fall might give you pale yellows and soft browns. But a fall with crisp nights and clear, sunny days, that's when the hillsides catch fire. That's when every tree seems to be glowing from the inside out. And here's a gentle thought. Every leaf changes at its own pace. Even on the same tree, some leaves turn early, some turn late. Some go yellow, while their neighbors go red. There's no uniformity, no rigid plan. Each leaf follows its own rhythm, and together they create something more beautiful than any single color could ever be. You can see it when you look at a forest in autumn. It's not one shade, it's 1,000 shades, blending and layering, shifting as the light moves across the valley. It's a quilt stitched by time and temperature, and every year it's different, and every year it's perfect. If you're enjoying this story, I'd love it if you left a comment below, maybe about your favorite autumn memory or a tree that means something to you. And if this is helping you relax, a like would mean the world. There are more stories like this one waiting for you in the playlist, ready whenever you need them. Now, let's keep walking through this quiet world, one leaf at a time. There's a kind of tree that doesn't turn bright colors at all. The evergreens, pines, spruces, firs. They stay green all year. You might wonder why. The answer is simple and soft, like everything else in nature. Their needles are built differently. They're coated in a waxy layer that protects them from cold and wind, and they can keep working even in winter's chill. Evergreens don't need to let go. They hold on quietly green while the deciduous trees around them blaze and fade. There's no competition here, no judgment, just different ways of being, different strategies for survival, all coexisting in the same forest. The trees that do change colors are making a choice in their own way. They're deciding that it's better to let go, to rest, to pull their energy inward and wait for spring. The leaves have done their work. They've fed the tree all summer. Now it's time for them to fall. But before they fall, they give this gift, a last burst of color, a final show of beauty before the silence of winter. It's not a goodbye. It's more like a thank you, a celebration of the season that's ending and the season that's coming. When a leaf turns red or gold, it's not dying in sadness. It's transforming. It's becoming something new, even as it prepares to return to the earth. There's a grace in that, a softness that you can feel if you stand beneath a tree in October and just breathe. The colors don't last long. A few weeks, maybe a month if the weather's kind. But while they're here, they change the whole world. The air seems warmer even as it grows colder. The light looks different, filtered through orange and crimson instead of green. Everything feels both vibrant and peaceful at once. You've probably noticed that some trees turn earlier than others. Maples are often the first to change, their leaves blushing red while the oaks are still mostly green. Oaks tend to wait, holding on to their summer color until the very end. And even then, they often turn brown instead of bright. This difference is about the tree's internal clock, its response to temperature and daylight. Maples are sensitive to the shortening days. They feel the shift early and begin their preparations. Oaks are more stubborn, or perhaps just more patient. They wait for colder temperatures for a more definite signal that winter is truly coming. And then there are the birches, glowing soft yellow like candlelight. Birch leaves turn almost all at once, and when they do, the whole tree seems to shimmer. If you've ever walked through a birch grove in autumn, you know that particular quality of light. Gentle, golden, as if the sun itself has come down to rest among the branches. Aspens are similar. They grow in groves, all connected underground by a single root system. So when one tree turns, they all turn together. An aspen grove in autumn is a sea of gold, every leaf trembling in the breeze, whispering secrets to the wind. That trembling is part of what makes autumn so soothing. The leaves are looser now, their connection to the branch weakening as those doorways close. So they move more freely, rustling and sighing, filling the air with soft sound. It's the sound of letting go, and it's one of the most peaceful sounds in the world. You can hear it if you're quiet. If you stand still in a forest in October, you'll hear the leaves talking to each other, sharing their colors, their lightness, their readiness to fall. It's not a sad sound. It's a lullaby sung by the trees to themselves and to you. The wind plays a part in all of this too. A gentle wind will shake loose the leaves that are ready, sending them spiraling down in slow, lazy arcs. They don't fall straight. They dance, twirling and drifting, taking their time to reach the ground. Some leaves land on water, a stream, a pond, a puddle left by rain. They float there, bright against the dark surface, little boats of colors sailing nowhere in particular. Watching them, you can forget about time. You can forget about everything except the quiet beauty of this moment. Other leaves land on the forest floor, where they'll slowly break down, returning their nutrients to the soil. This is how the tree feeds itself year after year. The leaves fall, decay, and become food for the roots. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is lost. It's all part of a cycle that's been turning for millions of years. Fungi help with this process. Tiny mushrooms and threads of mycelium work through the fallen leaves, breaking them down, releasing nutrients back into the earth. By spring, those bright red and gold leaves will be dark, rich soil, ready to nourish new growth. Even in their fading, the leaves are generous. Even in their falling, they give. There's a lesson in that, if you want one. But you don't have to take it. You can just watch and breathe and let the trees do what they've always done. Sometimes, on a still, cold morning, you'll find frost on the leaves that are still clinging to the branches. The frost makes the colors even more vivid. Ruby red against white crystal, orange glowing beneath a layer of ice. It's a brief beauty, melting as soon as the sun touches it. But while it lasts, it's breathtaking. Frost speeds up the color change in some trees. The cold shocks the leaf, breaks down the chlorophyll faster, lets the other colors shine through. A sudden cold snap can turn a whole forest almost overnight, as if someone flipped a switch and the world went from green to gold. But a hard freeze, too early, can ruin the colors. If it gets too cold too fast, the leaves might turn brown and fall before they ever get the chance to glow. It's a delicate balance, and every year is different, and that's part of what makes autumn so precious. You never know exactly what you'll get. If you're finding peace in this story, I'd be so grateful if you'd take a moment to like the video. And feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. I love hearing from you. There's a whole playlist of gentle stories waiting whenever you need a quiet moment to yourself. Let's continue slowly, softly. There's a type of maple called the sugar maple, and it's famous for its autumn color. In the northeastern part of North America, whole hillsides of sugar maples turn brilliant orange and red, drawing people from all over the world just to see them. It's called leaf peeping, and it's a gentle tradition. People driving slowly along country roads, stopping to take pictures, breathing in the crisp air. The sugar maple's leaves turn so vividly because they produce a lot of anthocyanin, that red pigment we talked about earlier. The cool nights and sunny days of a New England autumn are perfect for this. The tree responds to the conditions, and the result is a color so intense it almost doesn't seem real. But you don't have to travel to see beauty. Whatever trees are near you, they're changing too, in their own way, at their own pace. A single tree in a city park can be just as stunning as a whole forest if you take the time to notice it. Even a small branch with just a few leaves turning yellow is worth your attention. You can watch how the color spreads, starting at the edges and moving inward, or sometimes the other way around. Each leaf is a little painting, and the tree is the artist, working slowly without hurry. Some leaves don't turn a single color, they turn several. You might see a leaf that's half green, half yellow, with a streak of orange down the middle, or a leaf that's red at the tip, fading to gold at the base. These in-between leaves are transitional moments, caught in the middle of their transformation. They remind you that change doesn't happen all at once. It's gradual, gentle, a process that unfolds one day at a time. And there's comfort in that, knowing that you don't have to change overnight, that it's okay to be in between, to be half one thing and half another. The light in autumn is different too. The sun sits lower in the sky, so its light comes in at an angle, softer and warmer than the harsh brightness of summer. This light makes the colors richer, deeper, more saturated. A red leaf in autumn light seems to glow from within, Photographers love this time of year for that reason. The golden hour lasts longer, the shadows are gentler, and everything looks like it's been brushed with honey. But you don't need a camera to appreciate it. You can just look and let the beauty settle into you. Rain changes the colors too. A rainy autumn day makes the leaves darker, more muted, but also more intense in a different way. The wetness brings out depth, turns the forest into something rich and mysterious. And when the rain stops and the sun breaks through, the colors practically sing. After a rainstorm, you might see raindrops clinging to the edges of leaves, each one holding a tiny reflection of the sky. The leaves seem heavier, weighed down by water, but also fresher, cleaner, as if they've been washed and polished just for you. Some trees hold onto their leaves longer than others, even after the color has faded. Oaks, in particular, often keep their brown leaves all through the winter, rattling in the wind like paper. It's a different kind of beauty, quieter, more subtle, the color of earth and wood and time. Those dry leaves are still part of the cycle. They'll fall eventually, maybe knocked loose by a winter storm, and they'll join the others on the forest floor, or they'll stay on the tree, a reminder that letting go doesn't have to happen all at once. Sometimes you can hold on a little longer, and that's okay too. Beech trees do this too. Their leaves turn a soft, papery tan and cling to the branches well into winter. When you walk through a beech forest in December, you can still hear the leaves rustling, still see a hint of color against the gray sky. It's like the tree is keeping a piece of autumn alive just for you. The smell of autumn leaves is something special. It's hard to describe. Earthy, sweet, a little bit smoky, even when there's no fire. It's the smell of decay, but decay in the gentlest sense. The smell of things returning to where they came from. When you walk through fallen leaves, that smell rises up around you. It's the smell of a transformation, of endings that are also beginnings. It's a smell that says everything is going to be okay, that the world knows what it's doing, that this is all part of the plan. Children love to jump in piles of fallen leaves, and there's wisdom in that. They're not thinking about chlorophyll or anthocyanin. They're just enjoying the texture, the sound, the way the leaves scatter and drift and settle again. They're present in the moment, and that's something worth remembering. You can do that too, in your own way. You don't have to jump. You can just walk slowly, listening to the crunch of leaves beneath your feet, feeling the cool air on your face, noticing the way the light filters through the branches above you. Autumn is a season that invites you to slow down. The trees are slowing down, pulling their energy inward, preparing to rest. You can do the same. You can let yourself be still, let yourself settle, let yourself be exactly where you are. There's no rush. The leaves will keep changing, the colors will keep shifting, and you can watch it all unfold at the pace that feels right for you. If this story is bringing you calm, please consider leaving a like. It helps others find these moments of peace too. And I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What color speaks to you most in autumn? The playlist has more gentle journeys through nature, waiting whenever you need them. Let's walk a little further together. In some parts of the world, autumn comes late, lingering into November and even December. In other places, it arrives early, touching the trees in September, while summer is still a recent memory. Geography matters. How far you are from the equator, how high up in the mountains, how close to the ocean. Trees on a mountainside will change color earlier at the top than at the bottom. The higher you go, the colder it gets, and the sooner the trees respond. So you can watch autumn move down the mountain like a slow wave, starting with the trees near the peak and gradually reaching the valley below. It's a beautiful thing to witness if you're patient. Week by week, the line of color descends, painting the mountain in layers. Red at the top, orange in the middle, yellow below, and green still holding on at the base. And then, eventually, the whole mountain is ablaze. And then it's bare. And then it's winter. Coastal areas tend to have milder autumns. The ocean holds heat longer than the land, so the temperatures stay warmer, and the color change is slower, softer, more subtle. The leaves might turn pale yellow instead of bright gold, soft rust instead of vivid red. But there's beauty in that subtlety too. A muted autumn is no less lovely than a brilliant one. It's just quieter, more reserved, like a whisper instead of a shout. And sometimes a whisper is exactly what you need. Desert areas don't have much of an autumn, at least not in the way you might think of it. The plants there are adapted to different rhythms, different cycles. But even in the desert, there are changes. Certain shrubs turn golden, certain grasses fade to straw. The earth is always transforming, even in the places that seem most unchanging. And in tropical regions, where the seasons are defined more by rain than by temperature, there are still trees that lose their leaves. They do it to survive the dry season, not the cold. But the result is similar. Bare branches, falling leaves, a period of rest before new growth begins. So, no matter where you are, there's some version of this story happening. The details change, but the essence is the same. Trees responding to their environment, adapting, surviving, and in the process, creating beauty. One of the most striking autumn trees is the ginkgo. Ginkgo trees turn a brilliant, clear yellow, almost fluorescent in its brightness. And then, often all within a single day, they drop every single leaf. You'll walk past a ginkgo tree in the morning and it's still full and golden, and by evening it's completely bare, surrounded by a perfect circle of yellow leaves. It's dramatic, but there's something peaceful about it too. The tree doesn't hesitate. It doesn't cling. When it's time to let go, it lets go completely, all at once, with a kind of decisiveness that feels almost meditative. Ginkgo leaves are shaped like little fans, and when they fall, they flutter and spin, catching the light as they descend. A ginkgo tree dropping its leaves is like a gentle snowfall of gold, silent and steady and utterly mesmerizing. Sweet gum trees are another autumn favorite. Their star-shaped leaves turn a mix of red, orange, yellow, and purple, often all on the same tree, sometimes all on the same leaf. They're chaotic in the best way, a celebration of color that refuses to be just one thing. Walking beneath a sweet gum in autumn is like walking beneath a stained glass window. The light comes through in patches of crimson and amber, and the ground is carpeted in stars. It's the kind of place where you might want to stop, to sit, to just be for a while. Dogwood trees turn deep red purple, and their leaves often curl at the edges, giving them a delicate, almost fragile appearance. Dogwoods are understory trees, which means they grow beneath the taller trees in the dappled shade of the forest. In autumn, they add a layer of color beneath the canopy, a secret brightness hidden in the shadows. There's something intimate about autumn color in the understory. It's not as visible from a distance, not as showy. You have to walk into the forest to see it, to get close. And when you do, it feels like a gift, something the forest is sharing with you alone. Birches, as we mentioned earlier, turn yellow, but it's a yellow with a softness to it, almost creamy, like butter left out to warm. Birch bark is white, or sometimes pale gray, and the combination of white bark and yellow leaves is one of autumn's most elegant sights. In northern climates, birch forests can stretch for miles, and in autumn they turn into fields of gold. The trunks stand out like white pillars, and the leaves shimmer above and around them, a sea of light and warmth. It's a landscape that feels both wild and welcoming, vast and gentle. Aspens, too, are a northern tree, and they're famous for their autumn color. Aspen leaves are almost perfectly round, and they hang from long, flat stems that let them move in the slightest breeze. Even when the air is still, aspen leaves seem to tremble, and in autumn, when they've turned gold, the whole tree seems to shimmer. Native American traditions sometimes call the aspen the quaking tree because of this movement. There are stories about why the aspen trembles. Some say it's fear, others say it's reverence, others say it's simply the tree's nature to be sensitive, to respond to every whisper of wind. Whatever the reason, the effect is beautiful. An aspen grove in autumn is never quite still, never quite silent. There's always motion, always sound, a gentle rustling that feels like the earth breathing. If you're enjoying this peaceful journey, a like would mean so much. It helps this channel grow. And please share your thoughts below, or tell me if there's a tree or a place that brings you comfort. The playlist is full of stories like this one, ready whenever you need to unwind. Let's keep going gently into the heart of autumn. There's a rhythm to the way leaves fall. They don't all drop at once, except for the ginkgo. Most trees release their leaves gradually, over days or weeks, letting them go one by one or in small groups. A gust of wind might shake loose a handful. A cold night might convince a few more. And slowly, steadily, the tree becomes bare. This gradual release is part of the tree's wisdom. If all the leaves fell at once, the tree would be more vulnerable to sudden changes in weather. But by letting them go slowly, the tree can adjust, can test the air, can make sure it's truly time. And as the leaves fall, they create a blanket on the ground. This blanket serves many purposes. It insulates the roots, protecting them from the cold. It holds moisture in the soil. And as it breaks down, it feeds the tree and the forest floor, enriching the earth for next year's growth. So even in falling, the leaves are still working, still giving, still part of the tree's life. They're not discarded. They're transformed, returned to the cycle, made useful in a new way. Earthworms love fallen leaves. They pull them down into the soil, breaking them into smaller pieces, mixing them with earth. This process, slow and invisible, is how the forest renews itself. The leaves you see today will be soil by spring, and that soil will feed new leaves, new growth, new life. Insects shelter in fallen leaves too. Ladybugs, beetles, spiders. They burrow into the leaf litter to escape the cold. The leaves keep them safe through the winter, giving them a place to wait until the world warms again. So, when you see a pile of fallen leaves, know that it's not just debris. It's a home, a pantry, a nursery. It's an entire ecosystem humming quietly beneath the surface, doing the work of keeping the forest alive. Birds visit the leaf litter too, scratching through it with their feet, looking for insects and seeds. Thrushes, sparrows, towhees, they're all there, rustling and hopping, adding their own sounds to the autumn symphony. Squirrels hide acorns and nuts in the leaves, little caches of food to dig up later when the snow is deep. They don't always remember where they buried them, and so some of those acorns will sprout, will become new trees, all because a squirrel forgot. Deer walk through the fallen leaves, and you can hear them coming from a long way off. The crunch and crackle of leaves underfoot is unmistakable. It's one of the sounds of autumn, a reminder that the forest is alive, that creatures are moving through it, eating, resting, preparing. The leaves themselves, even after they fall, still hold color for a while. A freshly fallen red maple leaf is just as bright on the ground as it was on the tree. But over time, the color fades. Rain washes it away, sun bleaches it, and slowly the leaf turns brown, then gray, then becomes part of the earth. There's a gentleness to this fading. It's not sudden or violent. It's a slow surrender, a letting go of what was, an acceptance of what will be. Watching it, you might feel your own shoulders relax, your own grip loosen. You might remember that you too can let things go when it's time. Some cultures celebrate the autumn colors. In Japan, there's a tradition called momichi-gari, which means hunting for autumn leaves. People travel to see the most beautiful displays, much like the leaf peeping in North America. They picnic beneath the trees, write poetry, take photographs, simply enjoy the fleeting beauty. And it is fleeting. That's part of what makes it precious. The colors only last a few weeks. If you miss them, you have to wait a whole year for another chance. So, when autumn comes, people pay attention. They make time. They slow down. In Korea, the maple leaves turning red is a cultural event, marked on calendars, discussed in the news. People plan trips around it, wanting to be in the mountains when the color peaks. It's a shared experience, a collective appreciation of beauty. There's something lovely about that, the way a whole society can pause to notice the trees, to honor the season, to acknowledge that some things are more important than busy schedules and urgent tasks. You can do that too, in your own small way. You can step outside and look at a tree. You can take a breath and notice the color. You can let yourself feel the shift in the air, the change in the light, the quiet approach of winter. And in doing so, you're part of a tradition that stretches back thousands of years, all the way to the first humans who ever looked up at an autumn tree and felt something stir in their chest, something warm, something peaceful, something that said, "This is beautiful." And I'm grateful to be here to see it. The colors are a reminder that beauty doesn't have to be permanent to be meaningful. In fact, maybe it's more meaningful because it's temporary. Maybe the fact that it only lasts a little while is what makes you cherish it, what makes you stop and look, what makes you remember. And when the leaves are gone, when the trees are bare and the colors have faded, you'll carry the memory of them through the winter. You'll remember the gold and the red and the orange. And you'll know that they'll come again, that the cycle will turn, that next autumn will bring its own display. If you'd like to support this channel, a like or a comment would be wonderful. Let me know how this story is making you feel, or share a favorite autumn moment. And if you need more calm, the playlist is always here for you. Let's continue our quiet walk through the season. There are trees that turn colors you might not expect. Certain oaks turn purple. Some hickories turn a deep, almost bronze color. Sourwood trees turn crimson red, so vivid they look like flames against the autumn sky. Each species has its own palette, its own way of saying goodbye to summer. And within each species there's variation. Two maples standing side by side might turn slightly different shades of red. One might be scarlet, the other burgundy. Both are beautiful. Both are right. This variation reminds you that there's no single correct way to change. Each tree does it in its own time, in its own way, and the forest is richer for the diversity. Some leaves develop spots as they change color, patches of yellow on a still green leaf, or dots of orange appearing on yellow. These spots are areas where the chlorophyll has broken down faster, where the other pigments are showing through. It's a gradual process, and these spotted leaves are moments captured mid-transformation. Looking closely at a single leaf, you can see incredible complexity. The veins stand out more clearly as the color changes, creating a delicate network, a map of how water and nutrients traveled through the leaf all summer. Near the edges, the color might be more intense. At the center, it might be softer. Each leaf is unique. No two are exactly alike. And yet, they all follow the same basic process, the same fundamental shift from green to gold to gone. There's comfort in that, the way individuality and universality can exist together, the way you can be utterly unique and still part of a larger pattern. Wind plays with the leaves in different ways depending on their shape. Maple leaves, with their pointed lobes, spin as they fall. Oak leaves, broader and more solid, tend to drift more slowly. Willow leaves, long and narrow, flutter like ribbons. If you're ever feeling restless, watching leaves fall can help. It's mesmerizing the way they move through the air, the way they catch the light, the way they land so softly. Your mind can follow them down, and in following, it can let go of whatever it was holding on to. Some trees are planted specifically for their autumn color. Landscape designers choose maples and sweet gums and dogwoods because they know what these trees will do in October. They're thinking ahead, imagining the future, planning for beauty that won't arrive for months or even years. And when it does arrive, when those carefully chosen trees finally turn, it's a gift to everyone who walks by. It's a reminder that someone, sometime, thought about this moment, cared about it, wanted to make the world a little more beautiful. You can do small things like that too. You can plant something, or care for something, or simply notice something. And in doing so, you're adding to the beauty, adding to the peace, making the world a little softer for whoever comes after. In cities, autumn leaves have to compete with concrete and steel, with noise and hurry, but they still manage to be beautiful. A single tree in a parking lot turning gold can stop you in your tracks. It can remind you that nature is always there, always working, even in the most urban environments. Street trees often don't get the credit they deserve. They're fighting pollution, poor soil, limited space. But every autumn, they still turn. They still drop their leaves. They still complete the cycle against all odds. There's resilience in that. There's a kind of quiet heroism in a city tree that turns orange despite everything, that keeps going, that keeps trying year after year. And when you walk down a city street lined with autumn trees, and the leaves are drifting down around you, and the light is soft and golden, It can feel like the city itself is taking a breath, is pausing, is remembering that it too is part of the natural world. Parking lots filled with fallen leaves, gutters clogged with them, leaves stuck to car windshields. It's easy to see these as inconveniences, as messes to clean up, but they're also proof that nature doesn't stop, doesn't give up, doesn't care about your schedule or your plans. And there's something oddly freeing about that. The leaves fall whether you're ready or not. The season changes whether you're prepared or not. And you can fight it or you can accept it. And acceptance is almost always easier. In parks, groundskeepers sometimes leave the leaves alone for a while, letting them accumulate, letting people enjoy them. Children make piles and jump. Dogs run through them, scattering them in joyful chaos. And for a little while, the park becomes a place where it's okay to make a mess, to be playful, to connect with something simple and seasonal. Then, eventually, the leaves are raked up, bagged, taken away. But even then, they're not wasted. Many cities compost them, turning them into mulch or soil that will be used in gardens and green spaces. The cycle continues, even in the city. If this story is helping you relax, please let me know with a like. And feel free to share your thoughts. Does autumn feel different in the city where you are, or in the countryside? The playlist has more journeys like this, whenever you're ready for them. Let's keep walking slowly through this changing world. Some of the most beautiful autumn displays happen along rivers and streams. The water reflects the colors, doubling them, making the whole world seem painted in red and gold. A river in autumn is a mirror showing you the trees twice, once reaching up, once reaching down. Walking along a river in October, you'll see leaves floating on the surface, drifting with the current. They'll travel for miles sometimes, carried away from the tree that grew them, ending up in places they never could have reached on their own. There's a metaphor there, if you want it, about letting go and where you might end up, and how you don't always have to control the journey. But you don't have to think about metaphors. You can just watch the leaves drift and let your mind drift with them. Some leaves get caught in eddies, spinning in slow circles. Others get snagged on rocks or branches, accumulating in little rafts of color. And some make it all the way to the ocean, eventually joining the vast mix of everything that rivers carry. Fish swim beneath the fallen leaves. Trout, especially, like the cover they provide. The leaves create shade, hiding places, a sense of safety. So even in the water, even far from the trees, the leaves are still doing their work, still contributing, still part of the web of life. Streams in the forest run quieter in autumn. The summer rains have passed, the snowmelt is long gone, and the water is low and clear. You can see the stones on the bottom, covered in leaves, creating a mosaic of earth tones: brown, rust, amber, gold. The sound of the water is softer too, a gentle murmur instead of a rush. It's the perfect soundtrack for an autumn walk, steady and soothing, a reminder that time keeps moving, water keeps flowing, and everything is as it should be. Waterfalls are surrounded by color this time of year. The trees that grow near them turn just like all the others, and the falling leaves sometimes get caught in the spray, creating little rainbows, tiny moments of magic. If you've ever stood near a waterfall in autumn, you know that particular feeling, the cool mist on your face, the roar of the water, the explosion of color all around you. It's invigorating and calming at the same time. a paradox that nature does so well. Lakes, too, are ringed with autumn color. The trees around the shoreline turn, and their reflections create a perfect circle of red and gold mirrored in the still water. It's a kind of beauty that almost hurts. It's so intense, so complete. Canoeists and kayakers seek out these moments. They paddle out into the middle of the lake and just sit, surrounded by the reflections, floating in a world that's half sky, half water, and entirely color. You don't have to be on the water to appreciate it. You can stand on the shore and look out, and the view is just as stunning. The lake holds the colors gently, multiplying them, making the autumn last a little longer by showing it to you twice. When the wind blows, it ruffles the water, and the reflections break apart into 1,000 shimmering pieces, and then, when the wind dies down, they come back together, perfectly reassembled, as if nothing had happened. There's a lesson in that, about how things can break apart and come back together, about how beauty can be disrupted and restored, about how nothing is ever truly lost. Beavers are busy in autumn, cutting down trees and storing branches for the winter. Sometimes they cut down trees that have already turned color, and you'll see a freshly felled aspen lying on the ground, its yellow leaves still bright, as if the tree hasn't quite realized it's no longer standing. The beaver doesn't care about the color. It's focused on survival, on building, on preparing. But the result is still beautiful in its own way. The contrast of the bright leaves against the raw, white wood where the beaver's teeth have cut. And the tree will grow back. Aspens are resilient. They'll send up new shoots from the roots, and in a few years, there will be a new tree where the old one stood. The cycle continues. The forest adapts. Everything finds a way. Marshes and wetlands turn color, too, in their own way. Grasses and reeds fade to gold and brown. The cattails turn soft and fluffy, their seeds ready to scatter on the wind. The whole landscape takes on a gentle, muted tone, like a watercolor painting left in the sun. Birds gather in marshes in autumn, stopping to rest during migration. Ducks, geese, herons, they all pause here, feeding, resting, preparing for the next leg of their journey. And the marsh, with its quiet beauty, offers them shelter and peace. You can visit a marsh in autumn and feel that same peace. The horizon is wide, the sky is big, and the colors are soft and forgiving. It's a place where you can breathe deeply, where your thoughts can spread out and settle, where you can just be. If you're finding calm in this journey, I'd love it if you liked the video. And please share your favorite quiet place in the comments. Maybe a river, a lake, a forest path. The playlist is here whenever you need more stories like this one. Let's continue, step by gentle step. Mountains are some of the best places to watch autumn unfold. Because of the way temperature changes with elevation, you can see multiple stages of autumn all at once. The peak might already be bare, the middle slopes blazing with color, and the valley still green and lush. Driving up a mountain road in autumn is like traveling through time. You start in late summer, pass through early autumn, move into peak color, and eventually reach winter, all in the space of a few miles, a few hundred feet of elevation. Hikers love autumn mountains for this reason. Every step takes you into a new palette, a new stage of the season. You can watch the change happen in real time, as if the mountain is teaching you about transition, about how change is gradual and layered and beautiful. The air is clearer in autumn. Summer's haze is gone, and you can see for miles. From a mountaintop, you can look out over valleys filled with color, a patchwork quilt of red and orange and gold stretching to the horizon. It's a view that makes you feel small in the best way. Small, but also connected. You're part of this, part of the pattern, part of the world that's changing and growing and resting all at the same time. In some places, the first snow falls while the leaves are still on the trees. It's a surreal sight, white snow on orange leaves, winter and autumn existing together for a brief, magical moment. The snow weighs down the branches, and sometimes the leaves fall in clumps, snow and leaves together, a mix of seasons. This overlap is a reminder that nature doesn't follow strict rules. The seasons blend into each other. There are no hard lines, no definite beginnings or endings, just gradual shifts, soft transitions, one day flowing into the next. The animals on the mountain are preparing for winter too. Bears are eating as much as they can, fattening up before hibernation. Squirrels are frantically gathering nuts. Birds are migrating, moving south, following the warmth. But none of this feels frantic when you're watching it. It feels purposeful, calm, like everyone knows what they're doing, like the whole mountain is working together, each creature playing its part. Deer move down from the higher elevations as autumn progresses, following the receding warmth. You might see them in meadows, grazing in the golden light of late afternoon, their coats thick and ready for winter. There's a stillness to deer even when they're moving. They're alert, cautious, but also graceful, unhurried. Watching them, you might feel your own heartbeat slow, your own breathing deepen. Hawks circle above the mountain, riding the thermals, looking for prey. In autumn, the thermals are perfect. Warm air rising from the valleys, cool air descending from the peaks. The hawks barely need to flap their wings. They just glide, effortless and free. And, if you're lucky, you might see a golden eagle soaring high above the color, a dark silhouette against the blue sky. Eagles are rare, but autumn brings them down from the far north, and sometimes they pass through, silent and magnificent. The rocks on the mountain are covered in lichen, and in autumn the lichen seems more vivid. Greens and oranges and grays creating patterns on the stone, slow-growing art that's been there for decades, maybe centuries. Lichen doesn't care about the seasons. It grows at its own pace, unaffected by summer or winter, green or gold. It's a reminder that some things are constant, some things endure, even as everything else changes around them. Streams on a mountain are cold and clear, fed by springs deep in the rock. The water tastes clean, almost sweet, and drinking from a mountain stream in autumn is one of life's small, perfect pleasures. The water will freeze soon, in a few weeks or a month, but for now, it flows freely, tumbling over rocks, splashing and sparkling, full of energy and life. You can sit beside a mountain stream and listen to it, and the sound will wash through you, clearing out whatever you were holding on to. The stream doesn't worry, it doesn't plan, it just flows, and that's enough. Alpine meadows high on the mountain turn golden in autumn. The grasses dry out, the wildflowers fade, and the whole meadow becomes a sea of soft, waving gold. It's a gentler gold than the bright yellow of aspen leaves, more subtle, more peaceful. Walking through an alpine meadow in autumn, you can feel the wind blowing across it, carrying the scent of dry grass and cool earth. It's a scent that speaks of endings and beginnings, of rest and renewal. of the eternal cycle that keeps turning. The sky above the meadow is vast and blue, deeper than the sky at lower elevations, as if you're closer to something infinite, something timeless. And maybe you are. Maybe being on a mountain in autumn is as close as you can get to touching the eternal, to feeling the heartbeat of the earth, to understanding that you're part of something much, much larger than yourself. If this story is bringing you peace, I'd be grateful for a like. And please share your thoughts. Have you ever been to the mountains in autumn? What did it feel like? The playlist has more stories waiting for you whenever you're ready. Let's keep going, one quiet step at a time. Forests are different in autumn. The light penetrates deeper since the canopy is thinning. Sunbeams slant through the trees, illuminating patches of forest floor that were dark all summer. Moss glows green in those beams of light. Ferns, already turning brown, seem to catch fire. You can walk deeper into the forest in autumn and feel less enclosed. The trees are opening up, letting you in, inviting you to explore. And the floor is soft with fallen leaves, muffling your footsteps, making the whole forest feel like a quiet, sacred space. In dense forests, the leaf fall can take weeks. Every day, more leaves come down. Every day, the light changes a little. The view opens a little more. It's a slow revelation, the forest showing you more of itself as the days grow shorter. Mushrooms appear in autumn forests, taking advantage of the moisture and the fallen leaves. Some are bright red, some pale white, some golden yellow. They push up through the leaf litter, strange and beautiful, part of the unseen network that connects all the trees. These mushrooms are the fruiting bodies of fungi that live underground, spreading through the soil in vast, invisible webs. They're breaking down the fallen leaves, turning them into nutrients, feeding the trees. They're silent workers, essential and unnoticed. Looking at a mushroom in an autumn forest, you might feel a sense of wonder. Life is so creative, so varied, so full of surprises. Even in the quiet decline of autumn, new things are appearing, growing, thriving. The smell of the forest changes too. It becomes richer, earthier as the leaves break down. There's a sweetness to it, but also a depth, a complexity. It's the smell of transformation, of life turning into soil, of energy returning to the earth. You can close your eyes and just breathe it in, letting it fill your lungs, letting it settle into you. The forest is giving you something with every breath, not just oxygen, but peace, groundedness, a sense of belonging. Old-growth forests have their own autumn character. The trees are massive, ancient, and their leaves fall from great heights, tumbling down through layers of younger trees before finally reaching the ground. It can take a leaf several minutes to fall from the top of a 100-foot oak, and the forest floor in an old-growth woodland is thick with the accumulation of many autumns, layers upon layers of leaves, compressing over time, becoming soil, becoming the foundation for new life. Walking through an old-growth forest in autumn, you can feel the weight of time. These trees have seen hundreds of autumns, maybe thousands. They've weathered storms, droughts, fires. They've outlasted everything, and they're still here, still changing color, still letting go. There's wisdom in those old trees, not wisdom in words, but in presence. They teach by example how to endure, how to adapt, how to keep growing, even when you're scarred and weathered. Younger forests recovering from logging or fire have a different feel. The trees are smaller, closer together, competing for light. Their autumn colors can be just as vivid, but there's a different energy, more urgent, more eager, as if the forest is in a hurry to grow up. But even here, even in a young forest, there's beauty. Saplings turning yellow, their thin trunks swaying in the wind, underbrush thick with color, the whole forest glowing with potential, with the promise of what it will become. Forests are resilient. They recover from almost anything given time, and autumn is when you can see that resilience most clearly. The leaves falling, the seeds scattering, the forest already preparing for next spring, for the next cycle of growth. Birds move through the autumn forest differently than they do in summer. There are no territorial songs, no nesting duties, just quiet foraging, gathering energy for the migration or the winter ahead. Chickadees, nuthatches, woodpeckers, they're all there, but they're quieter now, more focused. You can hear them if you listen. Little chirps, the tap, tap, tap of a woodpecker, the rustle of wings in the leaves. But it's a softer soundscape than summer, more subdued, as if the whole forest is winding down, settling into rest. Deer trails crisscross the forest floor, narrow paths worn smooth by many hooves over many years. In autumn, these trails are lined with fallen leaves, making them easier to see, easier to follow. You can walk where the deer walk, moving through the forest the way they do, quietly, attentively, aware. And sometimes you'll come upon a clearing, a place where the trees open up and the sky pours in. In autumn, these clearings are filled with light, golden and warm. You can stand in the center and turn slowly, taking in the circle of color all around you, feeling held by the forest, protected, at peace. If you'd like to support this channel, a like would mean the world. And if you have a favorite forest or a favorite tree, share it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. The playlist has more gentle stories, ready whenever you need them. Let's continue through this quiet forest together. Gardens change in autumn too, in their own domestic way. The flowers that bloomed all summer begin to fade. Roses drop their petals. Dahlias turn brown. But there's still beauty here, a different kind, softer, more introspective. Some plants are specifically grown for their autumn color. Burning bush turns bright crimson. Japanese maples glow in shades of red and orange. Ornamental grasses fade to gold and tan, waving in the breeze like fields of wheat. A well-planned garden can be just as colorful in autumn as it is in summer, but the colors are warmer, cozier, inviting you to slow down and notice the details. Gardeners in autumn are tidying up, cutting back, putting the garden to bed for winter, but they're not doing it with sadness. They know that this is part of the process, that the garden needs rest just like the trees do, that next spring will come and everything will begin again. There's a rhythm to gardening that mirrors the rhythm of the seasons. Plant, grow, harvest, rest. It's a cycle you participate in, not something you control. And autumn is when you step back, when you let the garden have its time to slow down. Composting is a big part of autumn gardening. All those fallen leaves, all the spent plants, they go into the compost bin. Over the winter, they'll break down, turn into rich, dark soil. Nothing is wasted. Everything is used. It's a beautiful system, really. The way the garden feeds itself, the way endings become beginnings, the way death turns into life. and you get to be part of it, turning the compost, watching it change, knowing that next year's flowers will grow in soil made from this year's leaves. Vegetable gardens in autumn are winding down too. The tomatoes have stopped producing, the cucumbers are done. But there are still things growing: kale, chard, carrots, root vegetables that don't mind the cold. In fact, some vegetables taste better after a frost. The cold converts starches to sugars, making them sweeter. A carrot pulled from the garden in November is a different thing than a carrot pulled in July. Richer, deeper, more complex. And there's something satisfying about harvesting in autumn, about pulling the last of the vegetables from the cold ground, bringing them inside where it's warm. You're gathering, storing, preparing, just like the squirrels, just like the trees. Orchards in autumn are magical places. Apple trees, pear trees, plum trees. They've spent the whole summer growing their fruit, and now it's ready. The branches are heavy with it, bending down, offering. Picking apples on a cool October day is one of those simple, perfect experiences. The fruit is firm and cool in your hand. The air smells like apples and leaves and earth. You can hear other people in the orchard, talking quietly, enjoying the same slow, peaceful activity. And when you bite into a fresh apple, picked right from the tree, it tastes like autumn itself, crisp, sweet, clean. It's a taste that connects you to the season, to the earth, to the long history of people harvesting apples in autumn, going back thousands of years. Vineyards turn color in autumn too. Grapevines have some of the most beautiful autumn foliage, deep reds, oranges, even purples. And the grapes themselves are ripe, ready for harvest, plump and sweet and full of sun. Winemaking happens in autumn in many parts of the world. It's a celebration of the harvest, a way of preserving the season, of capturing summer in a bottle. And though you might not drink the wine until winter or spring, when you do, you'll taste autumn again, the warmth, the sweetness, the richness of the season. Even in small urban gardens on balconies and windowsills, there's an autumn transformation. Potted plants change color. Herbs go to seed. The light shifts, and everything looks different, softer, more golden. You can tend a single pot of chrysanthemums on a balcony and feel connected to the season, to the cycle, to the earth. Size doesn't matter. It's the attention that matters, the care, the willingness to notice and appreciate. Birds visit gardens in autumn looking for seeds and berries. If you've left some seed heads standing, sunflowers, coneflowers, black-eyed Susans, the birds will find them. Goldfinches, chickadees, sparrows, they'll perch on the dried stalks, picking out seeds, storing energy for the cold months ahead. And you can watch them from your window, enjoying the way they move, the way they interact, the way they go about their business with such focus and efficiency. They're not worried about the future. They're just eating seeds, and that's enough. If this story is helping you unwind, please leave a like. It helps others find this peaceful space. And share your thoughts in the comments. Do you have a garden? What does it look like in autumn? The playlist is always here, with more gentle journeys whenever you need them. Let's walk a little further, slowly, softly. There are places where autumn comes very late, where the colors don't peak until November or even December. Southern regions, coastal areas, places where the climate is mild. The change is more subtle there, more gradual, but it's still happening. Palm trees don't change color, of course. They're evergreen, in their own tropical way. But even in warm climates, there are deciduous trees, sweet gums, maples, even some oaks. And they turn, they let go, they follow the ancient pattern. So if you live somewhere warm, you might have to look harder for autumn. But it's there. A single tree in a park, a vine on a fence, a shrub by the roadway. Nature is always changing, always cycling, no matter where you are. And in a way, those small touches of autumn might be even more precious because they're rare. A single red leaf in a sea of green stands out. It catches your eye. It reminds you that the seasons are turning, even here, even now. In tropical regions, the dry season serves a similar purpose to autumn in temperate zones. Trees drop their leaves to conserve water. The landscape turns brown and gold, but it's a different kind of gold, dusty, dry, waiting for rain instead of waiting for warmth. But the effect is similar. The trees are resting. The pace of life slows. There's a stillness, a pause before the next cycle begins. And in that pause, there's peace. Deserts have their own kind of autumn. Certain shrubs turn golden. Grasses fade to straw. The heat of summer eases, and the nights become cool, pleasant, perfect for walking under the stars. Desert autumn is quiet, subtle. You have to pay attention to notice it. But that's true of all good things, isn't it? The best beauty is often the kind you have to look for, the kind that reveals itself slowly to those who take the time to see. Even in places that don't have a traditional autumn, people still feel the shift in the year. The days are getting shorter everywhere. The angle of the sun is changing everywhere. The world is tilting, and everyone on it can feel the tilt, even if they can't see the leaves turning. And maybe that's enough. Maybe you don't need the colors to feel the season. Maybe you just need to notice the light, the air, the subtle changes in the world around you. And in noticing, you connect to the cycle, to the earth, to the eternal rhythm of time. There's a kind of autumn that happens inside you too. As you age, as you move through your own seasons, there are times when you feel yourself turning, changing color, preparing to let go of things you've been holding on to. It's not always easy. Letting go never is. But the trees show you that it can be beautiful. They show you that it's natural, necessary, part of the cycle. They show you that after the letting go, there will be rest, and after the rest, there will be new growth. You can carry that with you. You can remember it when you're facing your own transitions, your own changes. The trees have been doing this for millions of years. They know how, and you can learn from them if you're willing to watch, to listen, to breathe. Autumn is a teacher if you let it be. It teaches patience. The way the color changes slowly over weeks. It teaches acceptance. The way the tree lets the leaves fall without resistance. It teaches beauty in transition, the way something can be most stunning just as it's ending. These aren't lessons you have to study. You don't have to take notes or remember facts. You just have to be present, to walk outside, to look at a tree, to breathe the autumn air. The lessons will come on their own, settling into you the way leaves settle onto the ground. And maybe you won't even realize you've learned them. Maybe you'll just notice one day that you're a little more patient, a little more accepting, a little more able to see beauty in the transitions of your own life. That would be enough. That would be more than enough. The stars are brighter in autumn. Did you know that? The air is clearer, less humid, and the stars shine through with more intensity. On a clear autumn night, you can see constellations you haven't seen since last fall, old friends returning. And if you're somewhere dark enough, away from city lights, you can see the Milky Way stretching across the sky like a river of light. The same sky the trees are under, the same stars they've been under for thousands of years. Everything is connected. The trees, the stars, the seasons, you, all part of one vast, beautiful system, all moving together through time. If you're finding comfort here, a like would be wonderful. And please share in the comments. What does autumn mean to you? What memories does it bring? The playlist is full of stories like this whenever you need a quiet moment. Let's continue gently into the heart of the season. There's a particular quality of silence in an autumn forest. It's not the complete silence of winter when everything is frozen and still. It's a softer silence filled with small sounds, leaves falling, branches creaking, the distant call of a crow. You can sit in that silence and feel it settle around you like a blanket. It's not empty. It's full of presence, full of life, full of the slow, steady work of the forest preparing for winter. Silence has texture in autumn. It has layers, and if you sit long enough, you start to hear things you didn't notice at first. The rustle of a mouse in the leaves, the flutter of a moth, the drip of water from a branch. These small sounds don't break the silence. They're part of it, woven into it, making it richer and deeper. And listening to them, you might find your own thoughts quieting, your own inner noise settling down. There's a meditation in simply being in an autumn forest. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to achieve anything. You just sit and breathe and let the forest hold you. The trees don't judge. They don't rush you. They just keep doing what they've always done. Changing, letting go, resting. And they invite you to do the same. Rain in autumn has a different feel than rain in summer. It's cooler, gentler, more persistent. It doesn't come in sudden storms. It settles in, soft and steady, soaking the earth, preparing it for winter. Walking in autumn rain is a quiet pleasure. The rain brings out the colors, makes them deeper and richer. The smell of wet leaves is intoxicating, earthy and sweet and clean, and the sound of rain on fallen leaves is softer than rain on summer foliage. It's a gentle patter, a soothing rhythm that you can lose yourself in, letting it wash through your mind, clearing out whatever doesn't need to be there. After the rain, the forest steams, the sun comes out, the temperature rises just a little, and mist rises from the ground, from the leaves, from the tree trunks. The whole forest becomes ethereal, dreamlike, as if you've stepped into another world. Mist softens everything. It blurs the edges, makes the colors glow. A tree in the mist looks like a watercolor painting, all soft hues and gentle lines. And walking through it, you feel like you're moving through a dream, light and peaceful and free. Fog is different from mist, thicker and more mysterious. In autumn, fog can settle into valleys and stay there for hours, turning the world into a white, silent mystery. You can't see far, maybe just a few trees ahead, and everything beyond that is hidden. There's something comforting about fog. It limits your world, makes it smaller and more manageable. You can only deal with what's right in front of you, and everything else can wait. And when the fog finally lifts, the world revealed is fresh and new, as if you're seeing it for the first time. The colors are brighter, the air is clearer, and you feel grateful for the sight of things you see every day. Frost is the first hint of winter, appearing on cold autumn mornings. It coats the grass, the leaves, the spider webs, turning everything white and crystalline. It's delicate, beautiful, and temporary, melting as soon as the sun touches it. Frost makes the colors even more intense. A red leaf covered in white frost is a stunning sight, almost unreal in its beauty. And walking through a frosted meadow, hearing the crunch of ice under your feet, you feel the change happening, feel winter approaching. But there's no fear in it. Winter is just the next part of the cycle. After the color and the falling and the rest, there will be snow and silence. And then, eventually, spring. The wheel keeps turning, and you're part of it, moving with it, trusting it. Autumn sunsets are legendary. The low sun, the clear air, the colors in the trees, all combine to create sunsets that are almost painfully beautiful. The sky turns orange, pink, purple, and the trees stand dark against it, silhouettes of black against fire. You can watch an autumn sunset and feel time stop. The beauty is so complete, so overwhelming, that nothing else matters. Just this moment, this light, this sky. And when it fades, when the darkness comes, you're left with a sense of fullness, of having witnessed something sacred. The day is over, but it ended well, and tomorrow there will be another sunset, different but equally beautiful. The moon is brighter in autumn too, or at least it seems that way. The hunter's moon, the harvest moon. These are the big, bright moons of autumn, rising orange and huge on the horizon, lighting the fields and forests with a soft, silvery glow. You can walk by moonlight in autumn, and the world looks magical. Shadows are long and soft. The colors of the leaves, even in moonlight, seem to glow faintly, and the air is cool and still, perfect for walking, for thinking, for simply being. If you're enjoying this peaceful journey, please like the video. It truly helps. And share your favorite autumn moment in the comments. The playlist is here, ready for you whenever you need more calm. Let's walk a little further through this gentle season. There's a certain kind of joy in autumn work. Raking leaves, gathering wood, preparing for winter. It's work that connects you to the season, to the earth, to the cycle of the year. And it's work that has a clear purpose, a visible result. Raking leaves can be meditative. The repetitive motion, the scratch of the rake on the ground, the pile growing larger. You can lose yourself in it. Let your mind wander, or let it settle into quiet. And when you're done, when the yard is clear and the leaves are piled high, there's a sense of accomplishment, of readiness. You've helped the season along. You've done your part. Children love to jump in leaf piles, and there's a wisdom in letting them. The leaves will scatter, and you'll have to rake them again. But the joy on their faces is worth it. And besides, the leaves don't mind. They're on their way to the ground anyway. Burning leaves used to be common, though it's less so now in many places. But if you've ever smelled leaf smoke, you know that particular autumn scent. Sweet, woody, nostalgic. It's a smell that takes you back, that connects you to other autumns, other times. Smoke rising from a pile of leaves on a cool October day is a beautiful sight. It drifts up through the trees, pale blue against the bright colors, carrying with it the essence of the season, change, transformation, the slow return to the earth. Gathering firewood is another autumn task. Walking through the forest, looking for fallen branches, carrying them back, stacking them neatly. It's satisfying work, and it prepares you for the cold nights ahead. There's something primal about gathering wood, about preparing for warmth and light. It's something humans have done for thousands of years, and when you do it, you're participating in that ancient tradition. And when winter comes, and you burn that wood, watching the flames dance in the fireplace, you'll remember the autumn day you gathered it. You'll remember the forest, the colors, the cool air, and the fire will warm you twice, once in the gathering, once in the burning. Preserving food is an autumn activity too, making jams and jellies from autumn fruits, canning tomatoes, pickling vegetables, drying herbs. It's all about capturing the season, holding onto it, making it last through the winter. There's a deep satisfaction in a pantry full of preserved food. Jars of ruby red jam, cans of golden peaches, bundles of dried lavender. You've taken the abundance of autumn and stored it away, and it will sustain you when the earth is frozen and nothing grows. And making these things, stirring the jam, filling the jars, sealing the lids, it's a way of slowing down, of being present, of honoring the food and the season that gave it to you. Knitting and crafting are autumn activities for many people. As the days shorten and the evenings grow longer, there's more time to sit by the fire, to work with your hands, to create something warm and useful. A sweater knitted in autumn is infused with the season. Every stitch is made while the leaves are turning, while the air is cool, while the world is transforming. And when you wear it, you carry autumn with you, even in the depths of winter. Reading by the fire is one of autumn's great pleasures. The light is softer, the evenings are longer, and there's a coziness that invites you to curl up with a book and disappear into another world. Autumn is a season for stories, ghost stories, mysteries, tales of transformation and change. The season itself is a story, and reading feels like a way of participating in that story, of adding your own chapter. And as you read, the fire crackles, the wind rustles the leaves outside, and you're completely content, completely at peace, held in the gentle embrace of the season. Tea tastes better in autumn. Coffee too. Hot drinks become a daily ritual, a way of warming yourself from the inside out. You can hold the cup in your hands, feel the heat seeping into your fingers, breathe in the steam, and each sip is a moment of comfort, of presence, of connection to the simple pleasures that make life good. Soup is an autumn food. Thick, hearty soups made from root vegetables and beans and herbs. They simmer on the stove all afternoon, filling the house with warmth and scent. Eating soup on a cold autumn evening is nourishing in more ways than one. It warms your body, but it also warms your spirit, gives you a sense of home, of safety, of being cared for. And making soup is an act of care, whether you're making it for yourself or for someone else. You're taking simple ingredients and transforming them into something comforting and good. Baking happens more in autumn too. Bread, pies, cookies, cakes. The oven heats the kitchen, the scents fill the house, and you have something warm and sweet to share. Apple pie is the quintessential autumn dessert. Apples and cinnamon and buttery crust, warm from the oven. It's a taste of home, of tradition, of the season's abundance, and sharing it with family, with friends, with neighbors is a way of extending the warmth, of spreading the comfort, of saying, I'm glad you're here. If you're finding peace in this story, please leave a like and share your favorite autumn tradition in the comments. Baking, reading, walking, anything that brings you comfort. The playlist is full of more gentle stories, ready whenever you need them. Let's keep walking softly through this beautiful season. There's a quality of light in late autumn that's different from early autumn. It's thinner, paler, as if the sun is losing strength. The days are noticeably shorter now, the nights longer, and you can feel winter approaching. But this light is beautiful in its own way. It's gentle, forgiving, casting long shadows even in the middle of the day. Everything looks softer in late autumn light, more delicate, more precious. The trees are nearly bare now, just a few leaves clinging to the branches, the last holdouts, reluctant to let go. They flutter in the wind, bright against the gray sky, and you know they'll be gone soon. There's a poignancy to those last leaves. They're the end of something beautiful, the final notes of a song that's been playing all season. And watching them fall one by one, you might feel a gentle sadness, but it's not a heavy sadness. It's more like nostalgia, a sweet ache for something that's passing. The ground is thick with leaves now, layers upon layers. Walking through them, you kick up whole drifts, sending them swirling through the air. It's satisfying, that sound and that movement, a way of interacting with the season, of being part of it. Underneath the leaves, the earth is dark and rich, ready for winter's rest. Worms and beetles are burrowing down, seeking warmth and safety. The roots of the trees are slowing their work, conserving energy, waiting. Everything is winding down, but it's a gentle winding down, not a stopping. The earth never really stops. It just slows, pauses, takes a breath before the next cycle begins. Birds are mostly gone now, the migrants having left weeks ago. What remains are the year-round residents, chickadees, jays, woodpeckers, and they're the only voices in the forest, cheerful and bright against the quiet. These birds don't mind the cold. They're adapted to it, ready for it, even welcoming it in their own way. They fluff up their feathers, store food in hidden caches, and go about their lives with a kind of resilient cheerfulness that's inspiring to witness. The sky is often gray in late autumn, overcast and close, but it's a soft gray, not oppressive. And when the sun breaks through, even for a moment, the world lights up, and you're reminded that the sun is still there, still strong, just hidden behind clouds. Gray days have their own beauty. The colors of the leaves, even though they're fading, stand out more against a gray sky. And the light is even diffused, perfect for seeing details you might miss on a bright, sunny day. You can notice the texture of bark, the pattern of lichen, the delicate structure of a bare branch. Gray days invite you to look closer, to see the small things, the subtle things, the things that are easy to overlook. Rain is more common now, cold and steady. It strips the last leaves from the trees, washes the color away, prepares the world for winter's starkness. But even in this, there's beauty, the sound of rain on bare branches, the shine of wet bark, the way the forest smells clean and fresh after a storm. Puddles reflect the sky, and walking past them, you see clouds and trees mirrored in the water. It's a doubling of the world, a reminder that everything can be seen from more than one perspective. The first snowflakes might fall in late autumn, mixing with the rain, melting as soon as they touch the ground. They're a preview, a promise, a hint of what's coming. And seeing them, you feel the year turning, the cycle completing. But for now, it's still autumn. The leaves are still falling, the trees are still bare, but not yet buried in snow. And there's a beauty in this in-between time, this threshold between seasons. Thresholds are always powerful. They're times of transition, times of possibility, times when anything can happen. And standing in the threshold of winter, you can look back at autumn with gratitude and forward to winter with curiosity. Nothing is ending. Nothing is lost. Everything is just changing, transforming, becoming something new. And you're changing too, whether you realize it or not. The seasons move through you just as much as they move through the trees. You're a part of the cycle. You're part of the earth. And as the year turns, you turn with it, shedding what you no longer need, resting, preparing for new growth. There's a peace in that, a deep, abiding peace. You don't have to fight the changes. You don't have to resist. You can just let go, like the trees, and trust that the cycle will continue, that spring will come again, that everything will be as it should be. If this story is helping you find that peace, I'd be so grateful for a like. And please share your thoughts in the comments. How does late autumn feel where you are? The playlist is here, full of more stories, ready whenever you need a quiet moment. Let's walk the last few steps together. And here we are, at the end of our journey through autumn's colors. The trees are nearly bare now. The colors have faded. The world is preparing for winter's sleep. But what a journey it's been. We've watched the green fade and the hidden colors emerge. We've seen red and orange and yellow painting the world in warmth. We've walked through forests and along rivers, across mountains and through gardens. We've learned that the colors aren't just pretty, they're purposeful. They're the result of chemistry and timing, of temperature and light, of trees preparing to rest. And in that preparation, they give us this gift, this explosion of beauty, this reminder that endings can be stunning. You've been with the trees through their transformation. You've seen them change from summer green to autumn gold, and then watched as they let it all go, releasing their leaves one by one, returning to the quiet simplicity of bare branches. And maybe in watching, you've learned something. Maybe you've learned that it's okay to change, that it's okay to let go. That transformation doesn't have to be scary. It can be beautiful. The trees have been doing this for millions of years. They know the rhythm. They trust the cycle. And they don't mourn the falling leaves. They simply rest and wait and trust that spring will come again. You can trust that too. You can trust that whatever you're letting go of, whatever is changing in your life, it's part of this cycle. It's part of your own autumn, your own transformation. And after the rest, there will be new growth. There will be spring. There will be green again, and flowers and warmth. But for now, there's this quiet, this peace, this gentle ending. Close your eyes if you'd like. Take a slow, deep breath. Feel the coolness of the air, the softness of the world settling down for winter. You're safe. You're held. The earth is turning. The seasons are changing. And you're exactly where you need to be. Let the trees teach you their wisdom. Let the colors settle into your memory, warm and glowing. A reminder of beauty and change and the eternal cycle that holds us all. Rest now. Let go. The leaves have fallen and the forest is quiet. and everything is as it should be. Thank you for walking with me through autumn. Thank you for taking this time to slow down, to notice, to breathe. Sleep well. The world is beautiful, and you are part of it. And that is enough. Good night.